So this week I had no idea what I wanted to do with the city. It's been absolutely miserable outside, so I couldn't get the legs cut for my Ninjago city area. And I was just kind of, it's been really difficult in the UK getting bricks and ideas that you want to get because you can't go out at the moment. But halfway through the week I had an absolute epiphany, and I really do think it's changed up the classic section of the Lego city. So this is what it kind of looked like at the start of this week's city update. Obviously I lined them all up, and you can see I slowly added back in the mock builds that I did earlier on during the city's life. See, I do have mocks in this city. I hadn't added these back in at the moment because obviously the city section at the moment is still in planning stages. It takes ages to plan, and that's just how my brain works. And also I was looking at the different pavements still to see which one was the cheapest, most beneficial for what I can do right now without having to go out and buy loads of 2x2 either dark bluish grey or light bluish grey pieces. So I think I kind of got that nailed, but that was all I was doing, kind of just focusing on these little bits and not looking at the massive kind of sections and planning that I needed to be getting on with. However, I've got to the point where I really like the new road plates. I like the added 2x2 section with a little bit added on as well, so it's got a nice little pavement, so I'll start adding minifigures and more scenes on the pavements because they're a little bigger, and also widening the road plates. That slightly bit, as I said last week, allows me to add in some bigger cars, which I just think is really nice, and it gives me the right amount of kind of size to what I can fit in with my city with everything else as well. However, to go along with that, I was also experimenting with whether I should take out all of the dark bluish grey and add the light bluish grey tiles in instead, because obviously with the new road plates they are the shiny dark bluish grey, so you don't get that nice contrast that you would get if you had it all kind of the dark bluish grey as well. But I think at the moment I have a lot of the light bluish grey tiles because I had them on the old road plates, so I can kind of reuse those and just have this nice 3 kind of stud wide kind of area for the light bluish grey, and I think it kind of works okay for now. So that's what I'm going to leave it with, and then you guys let me know in the comments down below, do you think I should change it up to the entire light bluish grey? But for now I'm just leaving it as it is just because of price and even getting hold of these pieces. So for the modular update this week, we started the Palace Cinema on our members live stream. Managed to get kind of like halfway through bag 1 just to kind of get it ready because the live streams get super long on a Tuesday, but with that we actually managed to finish the entire Palace Cinema on our live stream, which is absolutely awesome. And then we also managed to get halfway through Town Hall on our next live stream, so we should be finishing that one off on our next Tuesday's live stream. Super awesome building. But anyways, I also forgot from the week before, we also did include Detective's Office, so that's another modular added in as well, and that one is now my favorite modular building from the collection that I currently have built. I absolutely love that one. I'm so glad I have it in my collection. So with that, I also did some quick changes to my mocks that I already had in the city. So I've just put the haunted house onto a 32x16 base plate in dark grey instead, just because I think this is easier than to move around, because realistically, I just don't like this. I don't think it looks that good. So I'm going to take this all apart, but it's got some pretty cool pieces that I can use elsewhere anyway. So this would be kind of probably put into some sort of other mock in the future. But I still do like this one. I think it's kind of cool, and it's kind of like, yeah, hidden side references. So I think this is pretty sweet to stay in the city. So I'm going to add it back in right now. So the haunted house, for when I was doing this partway through the week, was actually going to be going right here in the corner, which is where the monorail goes around, and that's why I wanted to remove it from the massive base plate, so I could just get half of the actual building right there, which allowed me to then have that tunnel that I'm thinking of putting there, because obviously with the base plate sticking out there, you're going to have quite a lot of monorail crashes. But I still need to work on the actual tiling at the front because that just doesn't quite look right still to me, so I want to tidy it up and also kind of tidy up a little bit the exterior for it as well at some point. But I still do have my creepy mini doll in the top, which I just think is really funny. So I also pulled out all the mini modular mocks that I made last year on the channel for the LEGO City updates, and as you can see now, because this city is a little bit bigger than the one downstairs, I don't think the heights and stuff are quite right, but I wanted to get them out just to show you guys. Like I said, I do have mocks, but they're not very good, and I definitely want to get better at them. But I've just put them here just to kind of show you, because the city's looking really bare at the moment, just to kind of have them in, have a look at them, so you can see, kind of visualize what it's going to look like as we build up the city through the year, really. So also with that, I started pushing them back on the base plates, because actually before, from the city downstairs, there was a train track running around the back of it because I had to try and squeeze the train in. But now obviously with the train being under another level, I don't need to do that anymore, so I can actually bring the buildings actually back again and have the pavement the exact same size as modular buildings. So it really just had to blend them in, and then I can kind of find areas which I can actually put them on. But obviously I'm not even sure if I'm going to be keeping these. So again, let me know if I should actually keep these or not, or just remock them into something bigger and better. So I've also been playing around with the monorail station. Now this is kind of the right height where it's just below the table, which I'll show you. So I might need to raise this up for some other ideas I have for where it's going to go. But I think this is actually okay. These are the same bricks, and I still wanted to keep this little burger restaurant down here. I think this looks really cool, and I still wanted to keep this for now. This will get remocked at some point, but it's very colourful. I just really want to keep this as it is, just because I wanted this set for so long. So I'm just going to keep this as it is for now, and then I'll probably end up doing like a 2-story thing. And I had ideas of actually having this as a second story with like a little bridge over connecting to like a car park or something, which is what I want to do. I want to just kind of have a quick visual of what this will look like and my ideas for the monorail track going forward. So as you can see from this bit here, you can see the train can fit really, really nicely around there. So I think the actual length of it's absolutely fine, but I'm still quite happy with the height that I've got here. I think it maybe needed to be a brick or two higher because the actual monorail track itself butts into the table, which is fine if I was leaving it like this for now because it actually looks really clean. However, if in the future I want to actually have the monorail kind of going up and around and then maybe going around the classic section of the actual city, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I kind of want to have some ideas of having that ready just in case I want to do that in the future. So I think I'm going to raise it again by a couple more bricks, which will obviously interfere with the Ninjago City area where I'm putting the monorail, but haven't done the table heights yet, so that should be absolutely fine. So I'll probably end up looking at that the start of next week. So talking of monorail plans, what I want to do is actually have it, like I said before, going around the back, having that as a bricked up tunnel so you wouldn't see it, going around the back of some modulars right there so you wouldn't be able to see that. And then what I'm going to do is have actually it going down using the down tracks, which just go down by 10 studs, and then looping through and under the amusement park table, and then coming out as like a waterfall feature section, making it Ninjago Monkey Kid into the Ninjago district, and then obviously then getting it to go back up again with the 10 stud height. I've only got 2 of those actual pieces right now for the monorail, so I may need to get more, but I think it'll be okay for what I'm planning for this bit, and then we can add height and other things later on. And then what I can do for next week is actually just put the skeleton in place so we can start seeing how the monorail is going to attack. So it won't be the full monorail setup, but at least I can get it to actually turn on and off, which would be absolutely awesome, because I just love seeing it going around the city. It's just, yeah, it's weird, but I love it. So with the excitement of thinking around the Ninjago City area again, Mrs. Bricknit Steph decided to build the new Spring Lantern Festival because that actually arrived this week. And we started building that on Friday. Actually, come to think of it, it was also Chinese New Year on Friday as well. Oh, that's why she was building it. But anyways, she let me watch Ninjago at the same time, so I was pretty happy at that. So with the Spring Lantern Festival built, I want to just kind of plop it into the classic city section just to see how it looked. Disclaimer, it's not going to stay here, 100% not. But with the suggestion in the comment section the other week of actually having a nice little park area, whether it's tiled or greenery or something, in the middle to showcase that little bit of depth, I really wanted to have a look at it, and it looks absolutely awesome. Like I said, Lantern Festival's not staying there, but potentially something that's kind of similar height and dynamics, custom park can. So awesome suggestion in the comment section. It's something I definitely am looking at doing. So with all these buildings kind of in a line at the back and then the kind of garden section, I just was looking at my Google Sheets document that I used to kind of plan out the city, and now I could see it more visually. To me, it just wasn't looking right. There was something missing. I couldn't quite get right. The lighting's still off that I tried to solve a couple of weeks ago. So I just moved some of the sets around. Like I said, I was playing with the pavement colors as well to see if that was the issue that I was feeling. And I just felt that the heights and constraints just weren't looking quite right in its current layout state. And then all of a sudden, I had the epiphany. Yes, the bit that I actually completely rethought with the city. I kind of sat down, I looked at the Google Sheets, and all of a sudden I was like, why am I doing it this way, where we've got actually a road, the main key road, being a section that you can't even see, that I have to kind of peer around to look at, where you don't want that. You want it to be easily accessed to view. And I thought, why don't I just turn the city 90 degrees? It's so simple. It's such a moment. But I did it, and I started doing it at the beginning, and it just looks so much better. It makes so much more sense. So after all that, this is what I ended up with at the end of this week. So it's still not final, but it's getting close. So I didn't even realize this on my Google Docs, but Steph told me I had the math wrong, and as always, she's right. And it actually allowed me to have 4 base plates instead of 3.5, which is what I originally thought. So that's even better and even easier to add and do the calculations, because obviously the roads are a little bit off at the moment because they're not on the 32 by 32. So this is awesome, and it makes it so much easier to kind of plan this a little bit as well. So this is the first main strip that I kind of put together, and as you can see, another MOC here. See, I do have MOCs, but it's just looking really, really cool. I love that it looks like that. In fact, it's going to look really cool behind me as well. And I just think it adds to more, it makes it even look more busy, and already just looks amazing. So again, this MOC here is pretty naff. I did it towards the end of last year, but I actually think this one could stay and just get a little bit refined, because it's actually the perfect height next to the detective's office, where I think looks really nice here, because obviously that's my favorite one at the moment, so I want to have that there, that I can see it more often. But also it really does have this nice bit at the side where I need to upgrade the stairs that lead up to the skate shop, because that gives that nice opening there for the Soap Suds kind of advertisement on the new police station. So I really, really like that. And also then it just allows, with the height constraints, that the little donut shop fits perfectly there, and it just looks like it was made for this part of the city. So super happy with those placements. Again, just probably want to improve that tuning garage skateboard shop MOC that I made last year, but I really like it, and I think the colors really do work. I also need to fix those white windows. They need to be black I didn't have those pieces. So moving around to the back of these buildings, you can see that I've actually done another comment suggestion, which was add the diner shop as a corner modular. Now I'm not sure whether the downtown diner actually works here. I'm just not too sure with it, and it has this weird little alleyway that kind of just, yeah, cuts off the city a little bit. I don't know whether that should be there, so you guys let me know in the comments, but for now just put it there as a placement anyway to kind of see how this kind of would all work. But awesome idea, I just don't know whether it works on this corner right here in my city layout. And then next to that, I've just put half of the bookshop, the blue kind of tealy color one, because I think that looks really nice with the color scheme next to the diner. It makes it look a little bit bigger. And then next to that, I've kind of put the old MOCs that I was on about before. Now, again, the height constraints don't look quite right here, but I put the tiling in so you can just kind of see the idea that I'm thinking. And maybe I'll make these a little bit bigger or a little bit wider, I'm not too sure. You guys let me know if you want me to even just completely replace these, but it has that idea of, like you see, goes around and then it joins to this really awesome base plate and a half by 3 base plates park, square, town thing. I'm not even sure what it's going to be, but I think it looks incredible because this creates that more dynamic look. And actually, as I was thinking about it, I might actually put a little road that goes around just one side of that park and maybe reduce it by a little bit of a half base plate at the back, so you could have something that goes in front of the assembly square, because assembly square at the back there I think looks amazing. It really does look good because it's got those little bits of different heights and depths and things that kind of makes it look like the city is even wider and longer than it is, and I really like it there, so I want to keep that there because I think it's an excellent building. As you can see, I put the other kind of weird MOC modulars on the side there, and then I added the other part of the bookshop and then the Palace Cinema next to that, because I think the Palace Cinema looks really, really cool there, and it kind of gives me that vibes of like Leicester Square where you see the cinemas and stuff around this kind of big parky area. So I just think that looks really, really cool there. And also, Palace Cinema couldn't go where the diner was because the Palace Cinema has this really ugly bit at the back of the roof. Everyone knows who has the Palace Cinema, it just doesn't look right, and that's the main bit you'll see, whereas here it's more hidden from the main viewing angle of the city, so that's why I thought it kind of looked better there. So after all that, I think we've had quite a successful LEGO City update this week. It kind of turned into something a lot more and bigger than it was, but I'm really, really happy with how it's looking, and I really like the dynamics of the city as well. But I'd love to know your guys' opinions. Do you think what I've done is right? Do you think actually it was better how it was before? And yeah, it's just like, all the comments do help. As I said, I've used 2 of the comments in this week's video, and it really has got me thinking about how to change up the city and make it better. Also, let me know if you like this new style, which is more of a talking heads with then more of the vlogging sections, because I know a lot of people were complaining that I kind of make them a little bit sick as I kind of go around with the iPhone and stuff. So I thought more of a talking heads thing with then some of the kind of B-roll over the top might be a little bit better, and then maybe every now and again we'll do an entire tour of the LEGO City so you can just see how it looks as a whole. But anyways, hopefully next week's video will be adding a couple more road plates. I've kind of put an order in for that right now, as well as hopefully if the rain kind of stays off, we can get the Ninjago city tables added on and the start of the monorail skeleton kind of worked up too. And then potentially even have the town hall finished as well, and I can place that where I'm thinking the monorail is going to go behind it to show you kind of what's going on in my head. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like. If you absolutely loved it, then how about subscribe? And as always, have an absolute awesome day.